Squid Game Season 3 has the most shocking deaths in the entire series, but which one left you speechless? In this video, we're breaking down every death from least to most shocking, starting with a man who faked being a hero. Kang Dae-ho's death wasn't just a betrayal, it was a breakdown. From the start, he looked like the perfect survivor, ex-Marine, built like a tank, calm under pressure, the kind of player others followed without question, but it was all fake. In Season 2, when Gi-hun's group launched their rebellion, Dae-ho's role was simple: sneak into the storage room, bring back ammo, but he never came back. While players were dying waiting for him, he was hiding, alone, doing nothing. He wasn't a Marine, he wasn't brave. He just wanted to look strong so no one would vote him out. Later, Gi-hun finds him deep in the maze, alive, and Dae-ho snaps.
You killed them all!
But he wasn't yelling at Gi-hun, he was yelling at himself. He had run, abandoned the mission, and now, drowning in guilt, he needed someone else to blame. Gi-hun doesn't say a word, just stares. Then he snaps too. He walks up, grabs Dae-ho, and strangles him. No guns, no game rules, just rage. It's the first kill outside the system, and it's personal. Gi-hun, the same man who once gave up food to help others, now kills out of heartbreak. And for the audience, it wasn't just a death, it was the loss of someone we believed in. But if you thought Dae-ho's death was the turning point, wait until you see who's next, because the next death, it's even worse. While others schemed and betrayed, Hyanju stayed quiet, calm, kind. A trans woman and former Special Forces soldier, she didn't enter the game for greed. She just wanted the money for surgery, to finally live on her own terms. But the game doesn't care, and neither did most of the players. In Episode 2, Hide and Seek Maze, Hyanju protected two of the weakest: Jumja, an elderly woman, and Jun-hee, a pregnant player ready to give birth. No weapons, no allies, no chance, unless they stuck together. Hyanju led them through the maze. She memorized routes, hid them, even helped deliver the baby behind a wall. She found the key. She unlocked the exit. She could have walked out, but she didn't. She turned back to help, and that's when player 333, Lee Myung-gi, stabbed her in the back. No warning, no reason. He didn't need to do it, but fear made her a target. She didn't scream, she didn't beg, she just fell, quietly, across the exit door, still reaching back trying to shield the people behind her. At first, no one noticed what she had done, but later, when the dust settled, it became clear. She was the one who unlocked the door. She kept the baby safe. She made sure Jumja survived. She gave everything and never asked for anything in return. Hyanju wasn't outplayed. She was murdered for doing the right thing, and that's what made it so devastating. She would have escaped. She earned it, but she stayed because she cared. Her death was quiet, tragic, unforgettable, one of the most emotional moments in all of Season 3. But that wasn't the only death that broke us in that game. The next one, it shattered everything. Jang Geum-ja was never built for Squid Game. She was older, frail, and forgetful, the kind of person you'd expect to be eliminated early. But she wasn't here to win for herself. She was here because of her son, Young-sik, player 007. He had racked up massive gambling debt, and as his mother, she did what she had always done: took the blame, took the weight, and entered the game to clean up his mess. In the early rounds, Geum-ja relied not on strength but on instinct. She stayed close to her son, followed quietly, helped when she could, and survived through observation and caution. You could tell she was tired in her eyes and her hands and the way she moved, but what kept her going was him, her son. She was going to get him out of this, no matter what it cost her. And then came Episode 2, the Hide and Seek Maze. The game rules were brutal. Kill one player to survive. Geum-ja, Jun-hee, and Hyanju were hiding together in the maze, but when the countdown started, panic took over. The rules were brutal. If a red team player didn't get a kill by the end of the round, they'd be executed by the guards. Someone had to die, or all of them would. Jun-hee had just given birth. Hyanju had saved them more than once, but Young-sik couldn't bring himself to harm anyone. He looked at the newborn baby and froze, and in that split second, Geum-ja made the most horrifying decision of her life. She pulled out a sharp hairpin and with shaking hands stabbed her own son in the back. He gasped, looked at her in shock, and fell. The room went silent. The night after, Geum-ja tells Gi-hun,
"In the end, I was the one who killed him, instead of looking after me and my son. Save Jun-hee."
Gi-hun doesn't speak, but her words break through, and by morning, she's gone. She had taken her own life in silence. No scream, no sound. A mother who couldn't live with what she had done, even if it had saved others. Geum-ja's death wasn't just emotional, it was unbearable. She didn't die in a challenge, she didn't get betrayed. She died because she betrayed herself. She crossed a line no mother should ever have to cross, and once she did, she couldn't go back. Her story is about sacrifice, yes, but also about the crushing weight of regret, the kind of grief that doesn't scream, it whispers. The kind kind that eats away at you in the silence, in the moments no one sees. Gyumja's death is a warning. Even when you play by the rules, the game still destroys you. She followed the instructions. She survived the round, but the price was her soul. And just when you think the worst is over, Player 333, he used to sell crypto dreams. Now he's selling what's left of his soul. Myung-gi isn't loud, he isn't violent, but he watches, calculates, waits, and when it comes down to survival, he'll risk everything, even her. In the final round, Squid Game, the rules were simple. Push someone off their tower, be the last one standing, win 45.6 billion won. But there was a twist. The final player wasn't Gi-hun, it wasn't Myung-gi, it was Jun-hee's baby, Myung-gi's own child, swaddled in a coat, placed helplessly on a platform. At first, everyone froze, he lunged. He tried to kill his own baby. Gi-hun tackled him midair. They struggled. Myung-gi nearly had the upper hand, but the cloth couldn't hold his weight. He slipped, screamed, fell, and hit the ground. Hard. But the round hadn't started. No button had been pressed. According to the system, his death didn't count. It was over for him, but not for the game. This wasn't just a death, it was a father trying to murder his own child for money. And what made it worse? Earlier in the season, there was a glimmer of hope. He'd helped Jun-hee, stayed close to her during the pregnancy. He seemed like he might change, but in the end, greed was stronger. He chose power over blood. And when he fell, there was no applause, no redemption, just silence. Myung-gi didn't die in the game. He died trying to cheat it. His fall wasn't just physical, it was moral. He reached the bottom of what a human can become. No legacy, no honor, just a child, fatherless, and nearly sacrificed. His death left a question. How far would you go to survive? At what point do you stop being a player and become a monster? The Squid Game didn't just test people's strength or strategy, it tested their soul. And Myung-gi failed. He wasn't just eliminated, he was consumed by the game. And in the end, even the prize didn't want him. But the real survivor of Myung-gi's story was the woman he tried to destroy. From the moment she stepped into the arena, Kim Jun-hee carried more than just the weight of survival. She carried life. 9 months pregnant and completely alone, she wasn't there to win. She was there to endure long enough to bring her child into the world. She was one of the most vulnerable players in the game, but also one of the strongest. While others lied and killed, Jun-hee held on, fighting silently through pain, hunger, and exhaustion. In episode 2, against all odds, she gave birth on the cold, blood-stained concrete of the hide-and-seek maze. No doctors, no medicine, no safety. Just the quiet help of Hyanju and Gumja. She didn't scream. She didn't panic. She just focused, breathing through the pain until her daughter was born. And for one moment, everything was still. She looked down, smiled. But it didn't last. Her ankle had been badly injured earlier. She could barely stand. And in episode 3, the next round was revealed. Skip the rope. A deadly high-wire game with spinning blades and electrified ropes. Miss a jump, and you die. Jun-hee didn't have a chance. And worse, the game forced her baby to play too. In a quiet moment, she turned to Gi-hun. She didn't need many words. She bundled her daughter into her jacket and handed her over. Just one soft look. A mother's final wish for her child to be protected. And before the timer ran out, she jumped. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't a trap. It was her choice. She stepped out of the game so her child could live. There was no applause, no glory, just silence and a fall. Her death shocked audiences everywhere. In Korean cinema, it's rare to show violence toward pregnant women on screen. Many fan theories predicted she would survive, maybe even win. But the game didn't care. It gave her no mercy, no exception for motherhood, no reward for compassion. She survived betrayal, she survived childbirth. But what finally killed her was the game's indifference. After her death, the baby, still wrapped in Jun-hee's coat, was officially assigned her number, player 222. The youngest contestant in Squid Game history. For the rest of the season, she was carried by Gi-hun, shielded by rebels, and watched by VIPs, a twisted symbol of innocence in the arena. But for the audience, she meant more. She was born of love in a place built on hate. She was Jun-hee's final gift, because Jun-hee didn't lose. She made the one choice no one else had the courage to make, to walk away, so someone else could walk forward. That's why her death didn't just hurt, it stayed with us. Because in the end, true strength wasn't found in the winners or the survivors, but in the ones who gave everything and asked for nothing in return. And the man she trusted with everything was about to make the most heartbreaking choice of all. Seong Gi-hun, the heart of Squid Game, survived everything. The gunfire, the betrayals, the choices that tore others apart. But the most shocking moment of his entire story wasn't how he lived, it was how he chose to die. By the end of season 3, Gi-hun has seen it all. Allies turned enemies, innocents turned killers, friends taken from him, one by one. And in the final round, there's only one player left alongside him, Junhee's newborn child, the baby he carried through death games, through fire and betrayal, all while the world watched. The host, now unmasked as In-ho, aka the frontman, makes his final offer.
Take this knife back to your quarters and kill them. Kill anyone who wants to kill you or harm the baby.
It's everything Gi-hun once wanted, but now it feels empty. He looks down at the infant in his arms, a child born in chaos, a symbol of both the game's cruelty and its last remaining innocence. Then Gi-hun looks up at the arena, the blood-stained floor, the silent audience, and he speaks.
We are not horses. We are humans, and humans are...
And then he steps off the ledge. No fighting, no shouting, just silence. He falls into the void, a deep black shaft designed to erase the loser. But Gi-hun wasn't a loser. He refused to play. It wasn't forced. No one pushed him. No one tricked him. It was voluntary. In a game that demanded survival, Gi-hun chose death. It broke the rules. The final round needed a winner. Gi-hun made sure there wasn't one, at least not by the game's definition. The crying baby behind him was now the last player standing. But Gi-hun wasn't playing to win. He was playing to end it. His final words weren't a mistake. They were a mirror.
Humans are...
And then nothing. He left it unfinished on purpose, because there isn't a simple answer. The people who built the game were human. The killers were human. The heroes, the cowards, the ones who sacrificed, and the ones who betrayed, all human. Gi-hun had seen all sides, the kindness, the cruelty, the greed, the guilt, and instead of defining humanity, he walked away from the question completely. This wasn't just the death of a character, it was the death of the show's moral center. Gi-hun had been the soul of the series, the one who cared, the one who tried to believe in people, even when the game tore them apart. He died so someone else could live, without having to carry the game's blood on their hands. He didn't press a button, he didn't kill his opponent, he didn't accept the money, he walked into death with his head held high, and in doing so became the only person who truly beat the game. This moment is more than just a plot twist, it's a rejection of the entire system. The frontman believed people are animals, driven by fear, hunger, and instinct. But Gi-hun proved something else, that even in the worst place, you can still choose compassion, you can still protect, you can still not play. It's the idea that sometimes the most powerful move isn't to fight, but to walk away.
And humans are...
Gi-hun didn't answer it because maybe we are supposed to. Are we kind? Are we cruel? Are we redeemable? His death doesn't tell us what humans are. It dares us to decide. And while Squid Game asked the question, other shows tried to copy the answer. Find out what happened to every show that tried to be the next Squid Game in our next video.